So, we sort of turn to a what the Farage moment. The National Crime Agency, yes, they're advising us that if you're selling boats, if you're in the boat chandlery business, and you see buyers looking to pay in cash, you see repeat or bulk purchases of boats, you should become very suspicious, because you see what happens is criminals buy these boats and use them for people trafficking across the English Channel. The trouble is, National Crime Agency, the boats are coming the other way. And goodness me, they're back coming the other way. Here are clips from Dover this morning. A very busy day across the Channel yesterday, a very busy day again today. Estimated to be 650 people that have crossed over the English Channel in the last 2 days. The number probably in the end will turn out to be higher than that. Boats being intercepted, boats making it all the way across and landing on Kent beaches. And it's the same old pattern. It's going to be around about 90% young men with no documentation or ID of any kind at all. It's interesting, isn't it, that they will get put up in hotels or wherever at a huge cost of a taxpayer, yet the genuine refugees that will be coming from Ukraine will be housed predominantly with British families at a cost of a taxpayer that is a few £100s. And I have to say there is a massive difference, in my opinion, between the two. But if you thought the Channel crisis had gone away, it hasn't. And the forecast over the next few days is for some very, very calm weather. Now, who ever thought that a steam train could be racist, could be giving us terrible memories of our appalling, shameful colonial history? Well, I have to say that in Wales, that is the case because, unbelievably, Richard Trevithick's locomotive, built in 1804, that was working in coal mines at that time. And we're told by the National Museum of Wales that this invention is rooted in colonialism and racism. And even though the inventor had no links to the slave trade whatsoever, there's going to be a big notice put up so that when you go and see this invention, this working steam engine from 1804, rather than being quite proud of what we did in the past, you're supposed to feel ashamed. Now, one man who perhaps has been shamed is Labour peer Lord Young. Yes, he was in the House of Lords this week. And let's have a look at what was going on in debates in the House of Lords this week with Lord Young. Fascinating.
Put scare quotes around the term technically flawed and suggest that that was a particularly grave insult in your lordship's house. Well, I'm afraid I think this statutory instrument is technically flawed. Now, the language of the Secondary Legislation Scrutiny Committee is typically very measured and very calm, as you would usually expect. But what the committee does is regrets.
Well, I state my position as somebody who is a Remainer, but if there's two things that I welcome in coming out of the common market, one is the CAP, and this particular gene editing.
I'm sorry, but the noble lord was fast asleep for the entire duration of the minister's speech. He really should not participate in this debate, having failed to take advantage of the ability to irritate. I'm afraid the noble lord was fast asleep for the entirety of the minister's opening speech. Well, I had to send a note to you in order to wake you up by the doorkeeper.
Well done, Lady Bloomfield, for calling him out. He was fast asleep throughout the whole debate and yet wanted to get up and speak as if he was an expert, introducing himself as a Remainer. You see, they haven't given up. They haven't given up in the House of Lords. Many haven't given up in the House of Commons. But we can say to them very clearly, the war is over. There's no going back. But I thought, well done, for saying you shouldn't be in this debate as you've slept off your lunch for the whole of the afternoon.